All right, so welcome to the kitchen table tonight. What is the date? It's November 7th. I still cannot believe like how far into the year it already is. But anyways, I have a lot of things I want to talk about tonight, sort of. Mike and I just got back from leadership, which I wanted to just talk a little bit about that, and then our topic for our actual kitchen table chat tonight is about leaving a legacy. So leadership retreat is actually a annual event that is like an invite only event that you qualify for. You have to be 5-star diamond and above, and then you have to earn like a certain number of points in order to like get your invitation to go. And then like in addition to getting an invitation, like based on like where you're at in your elite ranking, like you can qualify to bring a guest and you can qualify to have your room paid for. But it's definitely like it's like my favorite event of the year for sure, because it's smaller, exclusive, and just more one-on-one than like regular summit is. Come on. So I just wanted to talk real quick about that, and then we're going to get on to the other topic of legacy stuff.
I love your shirt. I remember when I got you that shirt for Christmas, you didn't think that you'd ever wear it.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Talk about leadership.
Oh, yeah, but you had asked me to talk about something specific.
About the percentage.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. So obviously there were a lot of takeaways from there. Real quick, show of hands, how many people have watched at least 2 or 3 of the videos that we posted so far? Okay, excellent. How many people plan on watching the videos? Okay, good. Wonderful. So understand that these stats probably don't qualify to you, but one of the things that was interesting, and I brought this up a couple times, but who was it that was speaking? What was her name?
Oh, the 5-second lady, Mel Robbins.
Right. So Mel Robbins, she gave her video thing free. What was that, about an hour long or so?
Yeah, it was like just over 45 minutes, I think.
Right, and normally she charges for that and everything. And what was interesting about them, we shared it into the group, and I think Chalene Johnson also talked about this. People wonder, like, why can Chalene and these other people get up on stage and give, like, all their trade secrets away and tell them what they're doing on Instagram and tell them what they're doing on Facebook and just, like, absolutely just let it all on the line. And the reason being is because, unfortunately, only half of the people are probably even listening. It's probably less than that. Mm-hmm. And probably only a quarter of the people are going to implement anything that they learn. So, and it's sad because, but the reason why I asked how many people have watched or plan on watching is that leadership. Jennifer went through 5-star and everything, and that's what they gave to the leaders. They gave that information to like the bosses. So they thought that the people that spoke was like the key nuggets for people that want to be successful. So we shared that into the group, and obviously, so we want to make sure that the people that believe that they can be successful are watching it. So make plans in your day to do a little bit of that. I know for Jennifer, one of the things that's really helped for me and her is not only do we do PD, we also put about 30 minutes or so specific for business training. A lot of us have never ran a business. We've never done anything. We're not business people. We don't know anything. A lot of us just signed up to get healthy and then just realized the products were awesome and maybe we can make a difference in life. Jennifer didn't sign up to be this 9-star walking across stage, learn how to hold a microphone. So it's really good to start learning about these things now and actually learning about the businesses. One of the key takeaways that I want to bring up is making emerald strong people. Obviously, if you're making strong emeralds, you're leaning towards emeralds, and you're trying to get them to 500 PV as we taught. What was the name of that one?
Milan Jensen.
Yeah, the Milan Jensen one.
It's so funny that you're bringing that one up because she's also the person that talked about legacy.
By far was my favorite. Yeah. There were 2 of my favorites. She was, and the founding coach. Absolutely loved her.
That's the same person.
Oh, okay, I only had one then. I only liked her. Everyone else. No, but Are you sure about the 500? That was her too?
Yeah.
I was.
Diamond Strong project.
You know, it just shows you though that when you're engaged with somebody, when you're actually engaged, in my mind, probably everything I'm thinking of was probably from the same person, but because she resonated so much to what I was thinking. And I was like, whoa, wouldn't that be awesome if we had emeralds on our team that were making $750 a month? I mean, that'd be awesome. You would never go anywhere else. I mean, you know, instead of a diamond making $30 a month. You know what I mean? Of course, if you're making emeralds, you're going to get diamond.
Right.
And so I thought that was awesome. I thought leadership was great. I thought the amount of people that said that they want to be at a leadership event next year or new leadership summits and everything. And that's just exciting.
Yeah.
And just knowing, guys, no matter where you are in your business, dialing it down to just understanding it's okay to be part-time. The best things, we watch Shark Tank, the very best products are your part-time products, right? They usually won't even invest in people that's like, well, I've left my job, I'm pre-revenue, I've not actually sold anything. They usually don't invest in that guy because he left them. So if you're part-time and you're doing it and you're trying to figure it out, respect yourself for that. Give yourself that pat on the back. If you're, you know what I mean? If you're part-time and it led to a full-time passion, and this is just where your calling is, that's great. That's awesome too. But if you're in that position where you're like, gosh, I just need 30 more minutes in a day, be okay with that. Be happy that you're a part-time coach. Be happy that you're a full-time coach. Bottom line is be happy that you're a coach. I've felt so much love in this company when we're going to share a video here that Jennifer's going to do, and I'm going to put it together. There was nothing but transformation after transformation after transformation after heartfelt story after heartfelt story after heartfelt. This company is hard because we're doing lifestyle. Honestly, marriage is a lifestyle. Religion's a lifestyle. Things that are lifestyles are hard. We have chosen to help people's lives. Okay, not something that's temporary, not something that's a fad. We've chosen a hard road. So don't be upset at yourself that it's taking longer. We're trying to create, I mean, gosh, it took me 3 years into Jennifer being a coach for me to give up soda. 3 years of nagging me every single day. You know what I mean? I mean, just it's hard.
It wasn't really a nag. It was more of like
it was a nag. Don't listen to her. I don't have enough time to argue with. Look, I don't have enough time. I got one more minute. You know what I mean? My point is, though, that what we're doing is difficult. But the people that we're touching, very few people on this team that have even signed 1 or 2 people don't have a story of somebody that they were touched. And I'm telling you, that's not common in other industries. It's not common at all. I mean, gosh, I'm a police officer, and I know for a fact I've saved lives. I've physically saved lives, and Jennifer gets more heartfelt messages than I do. That's impressive. But also understanding that level of change is going to be a little bit more difficult. So rest assured in that you may be doing everything and stuff, but you're getting someone to change a lifestyle, and you're countering the world. Basically, we're countering the world. By the time they got on if you've got a coach call, think about this. You've got an opportunity call with somebody on their way home from work. They have to pass 16 to 20 fast food restaurants. They don't know how they're going to make dinner. The struggle is real, right? The struggle is real. It takes a lifestyle change, and we're the ambassadors of that. And there'll come a time when this seems odd. Like we were watching old Mickey Mouse cartoons. Mikey found this on YouTube or whatever. Old Mickey Mouse. I was crazy to see in 3 of the 4 episodes, they actually had a giant and other people actually rolling up cigarettes and smoking in a cartoon. The giant in Mickey and the Giant had a snuff. He had snuff. Think about it. Lifestyle changes are hard. That was the norm. This is what we showed our kids. I'm looking at Jen like, Jennifer, this guy is smoking. You know, I'm like, he's smoking. What am I going to tell my son? Right? He's not around smokers. What are we going to tell him?
Yeah.
But so we're going against the
point.
Yeah, freaking snuff. You know. Anyways, that's it, guys. Know that your cause is real. The struggle is real. Know that it's okay. Emerald's just 2 people. Let's just start off with trying to get people 2. If you haven't watched those videos, watch them. They're pretty darn awesome.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Is there a drop mic I can do?
Gosh. Okay. Real quick, because Mike mentioned Shark Tank, and I've said a couple times today, I'm like, I've got to write this down because I don't want to
I'm
forget.
eating these cookies too.
Oh, get out of here. We were watching Shark Tank yesterday, and you know how sometimes, I don't know if you guys watch, but sometimes they have like a guest shark on the set. So there was a woman, I forget her name, but she's the inventor of Spanx. And so she shared like a little bit of her story and just kind of like her journey of how she got started.
If she was in medical, she could have been a nurse shark.
Oh, okay. Go away. So she was talking about her journey and just kind of how she got started, and she's always had these like entrepreneurial goals or whatever. So she said that as like one of her jobs, she worked selling fax machines, like sounded like door to door, probably not residential door to door, but like offices or whatever for 7 years. And I thought about that and I'm like, she did that for 7 years. Like, in Beachbody land, like how often do we hear of people that have like given up sometimes after 1 year or sometimes after like 2 or 3 months? They're like, oh, I talked to everybody I know. You know, like this woman, could you imagine like trying to sell fax machines for 7 entire years? Like that's an entire college, well, more than college. That's like a college and master's degree education that she went, and she hated it. Like she said in the thing that she like, and it was the thing that finally like catapulted her to say like, I'm going to create my own product that makes women feel great. But still, that just kind of like rang in my head of like, geez, she's stuck with that. And that like that perseverance, like that was something Tanya and I talked about today, like that discipline and perseverance to just keep going is something that like a lot of people don't have. And you know, if you're still like, if you're a coach and you're still here pressing forward towards your goals, like I think that's super admirable, you know, and just kind of part of the process. So anyways, off track, getting to legacy. So this is so random. And it's, you know how sometimes when there's something on your mind and then like you kind of like, you think about it and then you move on, and then like God keeps on like sprinkling it in your life in all these different ways. So this whole thing about like legacy and being a grandparent has like been on my mind a lot in various times. And like a couple years ago, I was reading this PD book called Living Forward, and I don't know the name of the author offhand, but it was a great book. And it was really just kind of forcing you to think about your life and like what you want to like in the big picture of your life. And one of the you know how like a lot of PD books make you do these little assignments and sometimes you skip through them. But this time I was like, no, I'm going to take them seriously and I'm going to really go through these things. So one of them was to actually write a eulogy. And it was interesting because like that's not my style to like think about what my funeral is going to be like and what people are going to think or what I want my husband to say or anything like that. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust the process and I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to write it and whatever, so I can just say that I did it. But I really actually kind of got into it. And the way that the author had you go through the assignment was like kind of thinking of each like people group in your life. So like your kids, your spouse, your parents, your coworkers, your church family, like each kind of group of people, like what you would want them to think and know about you. And so I actually wrote it all out and I forgot about it. And Mike was doing an assignment for his schoolwork thing, and he said something about a eulogy, and I was like, oh yeah, I wrote one. And he looked at me like I was from another planet. I was like, oh yeah, I have one, so just in case I die, it's saved as eulogy in my pages. So and he just thought I was like whack. So but it was really interesting to read, and I'm so glad that I did write it like at a good part of my life where I was thinking clearly and I wasn't like in a bad place. Like I have, like, you know, we all go through bad places or whatever, but it was just so refreshing to be like, oh, like that's where my mind was at one point. And then it came up again when we were at leadership, and Milan Jensen, who she's like, if some of you guys that have been like around Beachbody land for a while, she's not really a name that we hear very often. And the only reason I was semi-familiar with her is because she was actually in the Country Heat test group with me when I was in the Country Heat group, and she was in that group as well. So she's a founding coach, and she's a little older. She's actually a grandmother, and I guess her story, if you guys haven't watched the video, she was like in network marketing, I think on like the corporate side for about 25 years. And then her and her husband retired, and then Beachbody recruited her to be a founding coach when they started the network side. And I just thought it was super interesting, just like hearing her story and how she got involved. And just something that has stuck out to me that she said is like, she got like, I think Carl, like, could you imagine Carl directly inviting you to be a coach? And so he invited her like 7 times to, come learn about this, learn about our company, we really want you to be part of this. And so they flew out and they met Carl, and you guys know how it is with Carl. Like, he's so inspiring, and like, you just catch his vision and his enthusiasm. Like, you can get it just from watching him on Instagram Live, much less being in person. So she ends up like deciding to join the company. And so she's a founding coach. And then she talked about how she's really attached to like the wellness portion of Beachbody, like not weight loss or not like, being skinny. Like, she's more about like, hey, I'm in an older place of life. I want to be around for my kids and grandkids, and I want to be able to leave a legacy for them. And when she said that, it was just like, how cool is that? Like, she's a grandmother. I don't know how many grandkids she has, but she's up on stage, like in this mega casino in Vegas, talking to the top leaders of this company. And she's like a multimillionaire. Like, that is so cool that she is still like pursuing this business. She's still like attracting people into her network, and she's still like living the Beachbody lifestyle as a grandmother. And I was just like, that is so awesome to just think like long term. Like, what if I had grandkids and they're like, oh yeah, my grandma, she's just like in London speaking to a crowd of thousands of people. That's my grandma, like, how cool would that be? But I just started like really thinking more about it. And like, your legacy doesn't have to be limited to just like what is going to happen with your kids and grandkids. Like, really, your legacy is so much more, even just what you're passing down to your team too. And like, so when I was preparing for this call, I was like, we leave a legacy to all the lives that we touch. So in our challenge groups, in our team, and in our family. So like, clearly I'm all about family wise. Like, I just think it's so cool to be able to like lead this life of entrepreneurship, showing our kids and our family that like going after your dreams is possible. And, no matter how big your goals are, like, don't put limits on yourself. So that's one thing that's so important to show Mikey. Like, for me, it's important to show that to Mikey. And so that's kind of the family side, but I want to get into like the other side. So I created an acronym for legacy. So LEGACY, and L is for longevity. And especially now, as there's all sorts of other MLMs out there and all other kind of business opportunities. When you're creating a legacy for your business, for your challengers and your team, you want them to know that you are here for the long run. You want them to know that you are establishing longevity here. This is not a fad for you. You're not just like, oh, I heard about this Beachbody thing and I signed up. No, like, you are aligned with this mission. You are aligned with this team. You're aligned with your team that you've created. Like, this is something that's a part of you. It's not something that you just like paid your $40 and, maybe today you're a coach and next month you're not. Like, you know, if you really want this to be a legacy that you're leading, then you are in it for the long run. And that's something that you really need to be proactive in communicating to people. E is for experiences. So I've been a coach now for 6.5 years, and we have been doing weekly team calls for probably 5 of them. So I have spoken on a ton of calls, and I'm sure that not many of you guys could really list that many things that I've talked about on the team call. But what you do remember about me is the experiences you've had with me. You can think about times that you've been like on a Zoom call, or you can think about times that we've traveled somewhere together. You can think of Super Saturdays. You can think of group workouts. You can think of Winter Summit. Like, those are all experiences. And that is also something that builds in your legacy. Those are the things, like, for me as a coach, like, I can think of things I've done with Scotty, who's my upline coach. I can think that I went whitewater rafting and ziplining with him. I can think of times that Mikey has played with his kids. Like, I can think of people that are on the call right now, like one-on-one family time that I've spent with you guys. And those experiences are part of the legacy that I'm leaving in my Beachbody business. G is for growing and just personal growth. So I think that part of the legacy that you want to leave with your challengers and your coaches, you want to show that you're growing. Like, you know, if you had somebody in your challenge group 3 years ago and you told them that you struggled with drinking soda, like 3 years later, that probably shouldn't still be your struggle. You know, like, you need to show constant development and growth in, you know, in your progress in this journey, as well as in your business. So, like, you need to show that you're growing as a coach, as a business person, as a business mind, you know, that you're getting stronger. You know, to relate it back to my coach again, to Scotty, like, he is a totally different person now than when I met him. I would think I'm a different person now than when some of you guys met me. So A is for active. So that, oh, thanks. My voice is scratchy, I guess. Okay, so I think that leaving a legacy, you have to be active about it. You know, you as a person need to be active. You need to be out there, present, taking action. It's kind of, well, proactive is really the word I wanted to use, but that starts with a P, so we're just going with active. You know, but it's intentional. It's like showing up. It's being at the events. It's, you know, sharing what you're learning and sharing how you're growing. C is for compassion and generosity. And I didn't think of that one until somebody commented on my post today. On my regular Facebook wall, I posted about the grandma thing and like the longevity or the legacy that I want to leave for my future family and stuff. And somebody had commented and said, I guess she has biological kids and she also has adopted kids. And somebody had said to her, like, I can't imagine doing what you did because, like, I would want to give the best to my biological kids. I can't imagine also adding in foster kids and then not being able to give my biological kids everything they want, because then kind of like they would have to spread the money that much more, sort of. I know Robin's looking at me like I'm nuts. And she said, I don't want, like, the legacy I want to leave isn't about materials. It's about generosity and compassion. Like, I want my kids to realize, all right, well, I'm sorry you can't get the new iPhone X, but we have these kids that were like are a part of our family, and we're now, because we brought them in, like, that's compassion. That's like, that is only something that you can teach by example. So compassion and generosity in our team, we do those things all the time business wise. There's people that I have brought in and let into our team page that are like not even a personally sponsored coach of mine. They're somewhere else in the network that are just like an orphan coach. And I let them in all the time because, like, I want them to have that team experience and that team culture. And then with challengers, it's the same thing. I let people in all the time that have a coach that's not working with them anymore. And I'm like, yeah, come on, just, if you're active in my challenge group, come on in, and it's just like those things that are just things that you can do by example. That's part of your legacy. And those are the things that are part of your tribe and part of your culture. And then why is your why? So that's something that you need to be building in and sprinkling in every time that you're addressing your team, you're addressing your challengers. Your challengers should know what your why is. Your challengers should know like why you're doing this. Why are you a coach? Why did you sign up? Why is this important to you? They should know and understand that. And that's part of who you are and why you're building this thing and what your goals are with it. It doesn't matter that they may not be interested in the business. That's fine, but they should know like what this is to you and what this means to you. And that why becomes part of the legacy that you're leaving. So, when a challenger walks away, like let's say they did a 60-day challenge group with you, they should walk away knowing all of those things about you. They should know, I signed up with Nina. She's in it for the long run. I had a great experience with her. I saw her progress. I saw her have a transformation. She was active. She showed up every day. She was generous. She gave me her time. And I know her vision. I know why she's here. I know why she's building this business. And so like every time that you bring somebody on into your team, whether it's a challenger or a coach, they should know all of those things about you. Those should be like a package deal of what everyone walks away. Not that they are walking away, but they should know those things about you. So that's what I have. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I just thought like, for me, when I've heard the phrase legacy previously, I've always just thought of it strictly as like an inheritance thing. And I don't know why it's been on my mind so much. And then when they talked about it at leadership, I'm like, all right, this is weird. But it's so much more. And I think it's exciting that, these are things that we can create. And like, it's different for each of us on all of those things, and we get to write that story and we get to deliver that package to the people that we work with. So that's what I wanted to share with you all. Did you guys have any questions or comments or anything you wanted to share? No, there's a couple of chats. Let me see what's there. Oh, that's about 80-day obsessed. Okay. Alrighty, well, it's almost 9, so I'll let you guys get going on your night, but make sure that you check out those videos from leadership. I'm pretty sure I got most of them in there, like just live streamed most of them in there. So other than that, have a good night, have an awesome week, and I will see you guys later. Bye.